He is Barry Melrose. How you been, Barry?
Rich, I've been great, man. I didn't know it was 1996 when you came aboard. I thought you were there a little bit after me, but
no.
Time flies, doesn't it?
It does, Barry. It sure does. Before we get to the current state of pucks, I want to go down memory lane with you, okay? Because I'm sitting here in Los Angeles, California. I mean, how did you become coach of the LA Kings? How do you go from the Adirondack Red Wings and then go to the Los Angeles Kings? How did that happen?
Rich, was the old-fashioned way. I earned it. I won in the American League when I was coaching Adirondack. It was Detroit's farm team. And we won the Calder Cup, which is the American League, which is like AAA in baseball. Had a really good team, and Los Angeles was looking for a new coach at the time, and they went outside the organization. They liked the way my teams played, and they asked for permission to talk to me, and I did talk to them, and I got the job. And from that moment on, I got to coach the greatest player in the world, Wayne Gretzky, and for 3 years. So it was a great time in my life, and it was a fun time to be in Los Angeles also.
Yeah, did McNall pick up the phone? Was he the one who called you, Barry?
Actually, I met him in Los Angeles. I certainly knew Bruce McDowell because everyone followed LA and what was going on in Los Angeles. Bruce was becoming a very powerful owner. He was among the top 3 or 4 powerful owners in hockey at the time, so I certainly know who Bruce McDowell was. And then in '88, he went and got Gretzky from Edmonton and changed the face of hockey from then on. And so I did know Bruce, and I met him when I first came to Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, they flew me into LAX in the morning, and I met with Bruce and Rogie Vachon and Roy Malarkey, who was president of the team that morning.
And was that the first time? I mean, you're from Saskatchewan, so was that how many times had you been in Los Angeles in your life, Barry?
Maybe six. When I played there as a member of Winnipeg, Toronto, or Detroit.
Right.
So probably no more than 6. It was pretty big city for a Saskatchewan boy.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, and then what was your first meeting with Gretzky like? These are questions I always wanted to ask you in the newsroom, but we never had time. So what was your first meeting with Gretzky like, Barry?
It was it was a movie. It was like you'd have in a movie. I land, I get the job, I do my press conferences. I set it up that I wanted to talk to Wayne the next day. There was a mega earthquake that night, and I was staying on Century Avenue. And I looked out my window. I think I was on the 12th floor of one of those hotels on Century, and I could see the water in the swimming pool go from one end to the other to the other. And the next morning, I got to see Wayne. I went out up north a little bit, about half an hour north of town to a hotel, and Wayne came in from where his home was, and I talked to him for about 2 hours. Janet, it was hilarious, the earthquake and all the stuff that went on, and then Janet drives Gretz up to the hotel in a minivan, and then she took off, and then we were supposed to talk for about an hour, but she came back, and we still talked for another hour. So I'm talking with Wayne in the hotel about what we're going to do, the type of team we have, the type of style of play I want. And Janet's out in the minivan with 6 kids waiting for Gretz to finish his conversation with me so they could head off home. It was just surreal. It was a typical LA meeting. It was exactly how you envision something in LA happening.
And then you make the Cup. You make the Cup finals that year, right? 92-93 season.
Yep.
And then it's entirely possible that you're going to be up 2-0, and Jacques Demers of the Montreal Canadiens calls the refs over and says, "Check out Marty McSorley's stick." Right, Barry?
Yep.
Didn't that happen in Game 2? And it changed Game 2 and changed the rest of the Cup finals because they called him for having an illegally curved stick.
Yep.
Right?
And we were winning the game at the time and totally outplaying them. I don't think Montreal had a shot for about the last 12 minutes, but they called the stick. The stick was illegal, and they ended up tying the game with about a minute left, and then they won Game 2 in overtime. But still, we still went in and won one game in Montreal, and that's what our job was. Now we're going home to L.A. We've taken home ice advantage away from Montreal, and we would just go home and take care of business, win the 2 games, and go back to Montreal. So that was the plan. Patrick Roy, unfortunately, didn't read about the plan. And
well,
he continued his unbelievable play and won 3 games in overtime, and they beat us in 5 games.
The reason why I bring this up, Barry, is because Montreal has not won a cup since, and there are those who believe there is a Marty McSorley curse that was, while calling out a stick for being illegal is one thing, that it was kind of bad form to do such a thing. Do you believe, Barry Melrose, in the McSorley curse? Yay or nay?
Yeah, I do believe in karma. I think that and Jacques Demers is my friend. I played for Jacques in the WHA, and Jacques is my friend. But with the calling of the stick, there was too many things going on. We always laugh about it. They say the ghosts of Montreal always protect the Montreal Canadiens. Well, maybe the curse of Marty McSorley and the LA Kings is stronger than the story and the ghosts of Montreal, because LA has won 2 Stanley Cups since then. Montreal hasn't won any, so maybe there is something to all that skullduggery and stuff going on behind the scenes.
I love it. Barry Melrose here. Let's talk about the here and now now. How is Vegas doing what it has done, Barry? How did they do this?
Rich, this is the best story in sports. If this was the NBA or the NFL, this would be the biggest story in the world. But for a team to get an expansion team, to build this team, and to be this good, that we be leading the West in points. A week ago, they were leading the NHL in points. They were the first team in the NHL to have 5 20 goal scorers, and they're still going. They're still winning every night. They're still playing a great brand of hockey. And if you just, this is a team that no one gave a chance to, and arguably they've been the second best team in the NHL all year long, next to Tampa. So it's just a fantastic story. It's Cinderella. It's not supposed to happen. It's it's a fairy tale what's going on in Vegas. The building's packed. The people love them. They're the hottest ticket in Vegas. So it's just a great story.
So what happens though in Cinderella is that the midnight strikes, and the carriage turns into
the glass slipper. Or is that the apple? What happened?
Well, no, it turns.
What happened?
No, the carriage turns into a pumpkin. So do you think that happens with Vegas? I mean, how do you see this playing out?
I see this playing out that I don't think they're going to win the cup, but I think that they're definitely going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be a tough game. They're going to be a tough team to play against because they're built the way you're supposed to build a team. And net, excellent. Fleury's been great defensively. They're great. They've got depth on defense. They don't have an elite NHL defenseman, but they've got 7 really good defensemen. And up front, their offense and their goal scorers and their forwards are as good as any in the league. So, this team's for real. This team is going to be a player come playoff time.
And then the 15 hours of live trade deadline coverage beginning Monday on the NHL Network at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Which team do you think needs to have a big Monday to have a shot to throw their name in the ring with Vegas, Nashville, Tampa, et cetera?
Well, the LA Kings have already been busy. They've went out and found 2 players already. Dion Phaneuf was traded there. He's got 3 goals in the last 4 games. They just traded for Tobias Reeder last night from Arizona. A good player. Certainly, he'll help the depth in that team. So LA is already out and running, and they're going to get Jeff Carter back eventually, hopefully before the season's over, because that guy will really make a difference for the LA Kings. So LA's already involved. You saw the Rangers last night trade Grabner to the Devils, so the Rangers are going to become sellers this year. The Devils are a team that has to do something. They did. The Islanders have to make the playoffs for a number of reasons. Number one, you got to think that something like this has to happen if they're going to be able to keep Johnny Tavares as a member of the Islanders. So the Islanders need to make the playoffs to get some positive waves and get Johnny Tavares thinking seriously of staying with the Islanders. Pittsburgh, I think, will make a deal because they always make a deal at the deadline, and it usually ends up being a deal that helps them. They've won 2 Stanley Cups. They're certainly going to try and win the 3rd. The Capitals might need a deal because they're struggling a bit right now. But, in the West, every team in the Central could be trying to make a deal because it's such a tough, evenly matched series, and you saw Nashville last year finish 7th. They ended up going to the Stanley Cup Finals. So if you get in the playoffs, you have a chance in the NHL. Most sports you don't. It's pretty obvious who's going to win, but really, if you make the playoffs in the NHL, you have a legitimate chance of winning the Stanley Cup.
And all that said, Barry, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Olympic hockey not having NHL players in it. It just felt different, even though, we were celebrating the American women gold medal on the same day as the Miracle on Ice, when we all remember when a bunch of ragtag kids beat the Russians. Now it's the 21st century, and kind of miss the NHL players. What do you think that we'll see the NHL players back on an Olympic ice anytime soon?
First of all, Rich, I'm shocked because I'm from Canada, and we didn't win curling and we didn't win hockey. Now, what is going on? How does that happen?
I don't know, Barry.
Canada does not win curling or hockey. So right there, I'm shocked with what's going on over in the Olympics. Yeah, the NHL will be back. I think everybody wants them back. I think the players have been very vocal, especially Alex Ovechkin. He wants to play in the Olympics. I don't think the NHL is going to miss an opportunity to go to China. They want to become, right on the ground floor of hockey being expanded in China. So I think that's certainly going to happen. Obviously disappointed with the American men and the Canadian men. The American women, it's such a great story. Haven't won since Cami Granado, carried the cup around, carried the gold medal around many years ago. So I think it's great what America did, and really the amazing thing to me about the American women and the Canadian women, the American women are much more skilled than the Canadian women. You just watch them play. The style of play is so much different. The Canadian women are much more physical, much more of a grinding team, whereas the American women are a very skilled team and are very dangerous offensively. So this year they were able to get to the goaltender. They won in a shootout, and it was a fantastic hockey game. Rich, I don't know if you watched the women's game. It was a great hockey game. I'm not talking men, women. I don't care if you hate women's hockey or don't believe in women's hockey. It was a great hockey game. It was intense. It was fun to watch. And I've become a fan of women's hockey over these Olympics. It was a great product on the ice.
I agree with you, Barry, 1,000%. I just wish it just didn't end in a shootout,
Rich, we all hate shootouts. I hate shootouts to determine anything major. You have to have it in the regular season. I'm okay with that. I've come to the realization. I got off my soapbox. Okay, that's fine. But to have a game like that, with that much passion and the energy and what both those teams left on the ice, to have it end in a breakaway is shortchanging both teams, not just the Canadian team. It's shortchanging both teams. That game should have went until it was a goal scored.
Yeah, they were all, those are all champion hearts that beat inside those chests. They want to play till they drop. And,
exactly.
Barry, I love
something. Hopefully they'll change.
Barry, love catching up with you. Let's chat more when the playoffs begin and we start grinding in the corners around here. Okay, Barry?
Rich, anytime, man. Anytime. Give me a call.
You got it. That's right. That's great. Thank you, Barry Melrose, NHL Network and ESPN. Again,
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.